of PDR Tool Time, your industry podcast, tools, reviews, and stories.
Welcome to another episode of PDR Tool Time. This is episode 135. Here with your hosts, myself, Vince D'Alessandro, John Renstrom, and Daniel Graham. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. I want to bring everyone up to speed. This episode is brought to you by Mobile Tech RX, Hog Glue, and Magnatech Mat.
Making
That's
all the
right.
difference, keeping the roof safe from dropping your mini lifter.
Yes, and making more money with Hog Glue and Mobile Tech RX.
You know what? I gotta say, I've got, I don't know how many mats I got, but Vince ended up sending me one of his ones that was not exactly perfect, right? It had some flaws in it. So, and he's been telling everybody to cut them up. So I did it. I cut this one up, and what's great is I got me a nice little, probably 4 by 6 inch one, and I took apart a gas door, the inner part, right? And so you're prying, and you throw that Magnatech mat, and it protects the whole surface. I used to throw a rag on there, duct tape it on there, and it still would not protect it very well.
You'd maul it up.
You throw the Magnatech on there and it sticks, it stays, it's got plenty of protection, and it's the perfect thing. So buy an extra one and cut it up.
Yeah. And you know what? This week is the sale. Actually, the whole month of September is the sale, $99 plus free shipping. But this is the last chance. The drawing for the Lift Right mini lifter is this Saturday, the 15th. So whoever buys a mat, you get a chance at the mini lifter. And it's oddly enough, I had a guy call me the other day and order one because he had the Lift Right, and it's a little bit top heavy. It fell over and put a dent in the car. So he immediately bought a Magnatech mat. That way he could protect the surface with it.
Another use for that Magnatech mat, and I've done this several times now. I was doing bad hail on the side of an 8-foot pickup box. Now, this was on a Chevy. This was a work truck. It had a topper on it, so I could not remove the bed rails, anything. This this isn't a normal topper. This one, it was completely loaded with 2,000 pounds of tools into it. So this was a windowless topper. It's a pure work truck. So I had to glue pull everything down low in front of the wheel well on the front of the bed, because the 8-foot dent rod could get up top, but it can't get over that wheel well curve. When you're doing that and you're tapping down those glue pulls, that is loud. I mean, it's an echo chamber. Oh. Take that Magnatech mat, slap it right up on that box side, and it just quiets the whole thing down. It's just thunk, thunk, thunk.
Oh, well, it
dampening.
It dampens it, and you get a better strike. Don't you agree?
Yeah, because the panel isn't vibrating so much. And, when you're using your blending hammer, you're kind of going pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you don't want that panel to have all that flex. That 4-foot long flat panel just moves all around. You stick that Magnatech on there, and it just holds right into place.
Wow, look at that. Another tech tip. I did not think about that at all. I have a lot of gunsmiths buying it too as well. Gunsmiths and drone operators, hobbyists that sit around and take apart things and tiny little screws. Everything.
Well, those small stuff falls everywhere. The Magnatech holds it right in.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not just for PDR, it's for other things too. And I appreciate you guys going into that. It was kind of unexpected to be talking about it. This wasn't really I
was just using it that way, man, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
It's so much quieter too. I mean, we all know how loud blending is.
Oh, yeah.
It knocks the sound down tremendously.
Sure.
Plus, it just makes you look professional. If a customer walks by and they see you have a bunch of tools laid out on top of their paint finish, that doesn't look that doesn't look good. It doesn't look professional. Come on, we have to keep up appearances.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I find it easier it's harder to train an old tech new tricks. It really is. And it's hard to get into the routine of using it sometimes. But I know, all you new techs out there, if you start off using good forms and good procedures,
good habits,
it becomes a daily habit and It's better
Then you're
that
not
way.
fixing accidental dents from dropping a tool.
Right. Or spending more time friggin' sanding out, scratches that you put on the surface.
Because I've done all of those things.
Yep, me too. Well, cool.
All right.
So what do we guys?
All right.
We got a good show here today. We have a few guests coming on. We have Adam Williams from the PDR World Cup. He's coming on the show.
Finally some answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The hard questions got asked.
sure, and we got to ask him these questions because I did a pre-interview with him a few weeks ago, and because we're all kind of like, who's stepping on our mobile tech our mobile tech expo? It's like that's our baby. We all look forward to. But this is a guy that's coming on into the scene. He's been around for a long time, and he's trying to get this going just for us PDR technicians. So there's
this is be PDR only, not covering the whole recon industry.
Sure.
So a little bit different that way.
So we're going to touch on some questions with him and make sure we're on board. And also we have David Schlemmer. Daniel, you want to elaborate on David?
Yeah, David is he's a brand new tool company. Just launched his website like 3 months ago, and we like to highlight new guys. So we wanted to bring him on, introduce him to the dent world, and let people know what he's got, because I think he's got an exciting product that is different than anybody else's product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's got a few different products. So
he does.
Especially for hail guys. This is really, if you're a hail guy, you want to check this guy out.
Yeah, David's a hail guy, so he's coming at it from the hail word. It's not so much the door dent route, but still good stuff.
The good stuff is the fact that we promote big and small. We don't care how small you are or how big you are. We want to get you on here and help you guys, bring new innovation to our industry.
And this is great. So David's still low production, so we're really trying to shove him out there and let people see. Guys,
He
go to
might
his
not
website.
be anymore
Yeah,
after this show.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So how was your guys' week? Very profitable?
Insane. I think I'm going to start slowing down finally. So
Yeah.
I'd take
How about you?
a couple weeks
How
off
about
just-
you, Vince?
Yeah, September started off running, man. So I'm just enjoying my time off, and I think it's important to get that time off and regroup. And I honestly, when 4:30 comes around, my phones go off. When the weekend comes around, my phones go off. I need my downtime I'm running crazy during the week here, so I think we all need to take that time and recharge our batteries a little bit, and get off of Facebook and spend time with our families, or go do something fun, because we all work very hard.
Go do something fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Mobile Tech RX launched their auto body.
We're our first foray into the conventional side of the app, and it's going to expand a little bit further. Those of you who are scanning the 18s and 19 GM QR codes and having the issues, we should have that bug fix out this week. Hopefully by the time you guys are hearing this on Tuesday. So
How could it be so regional, though? Because, I know some guys have some issues with Mercedes, barcodes, and I have no problems at all.
What's going on with the Mercedes is Mercedes is using a very fine line in their barcodes. For those that don't understand how a barcode works, you got the white and the black lines, and the code readers actually read the white part in between each of the lines. And that ultra fine line on the Mercedes barcode, the camera on the phone is not sensitive enough to see that black line. It's whiting it out. So that's why the Mercedes, the couple of customers that we have, they can't even get us a clear photo. If you can get a clear photo of it, it scans without an issue. So it's really going to depend upon your phone and the camera in your phone.
That's funny that you said that, John, because I'm still using an iPad Mini 2, I think. It's older technology. Maybe it's the new cameras on these new fancy iPhones and stuff that you guys carry.
Could be, but we've got customers with both Samsung and iPhones that are having issues, and other guys that have absolutely no issues.
Yeah.
So
I have a Google phone.
That's what's been so troubling. The GM code, and this actually goes into what we're doing with the auto body and the conventional aspects. What's causing the issue on the GM code is it kicks back everything. You get the first 16 digits of the VIN, then you get the paint code, the interior code, the trim code level, and it all puts it in, and it's kicking back like 40 digits. Oh. And so our system doesn't know what to do with that. And we have to get in there, and we're breaking that down so that we can have each of those codes actually displayed in Mobile Tech RX. So when you're ordering your parts, you have all of those proper pieces.
Well, it sounds very complicated, and I don't understand it. I don't want to.
It is. I just called the guys up there. Is it fixed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is there anything you can do about when you open up that car door and like the seatbelt doesn't retract anymore, and it's caught between the door and it scratches the barcode like? Can you do anything about that problem?
Clean the windshield and try to control the light.
I hate it when I open up the door and I look at the sticker and I'm like, that's not good.
To manually type it in.
Yeah.
We've really been playing around with some, and I guess this is probably letting it out there, but we've been playing around with some character readers and trying to get it where you can just read the characters.
Well, I was just pointing at the car and it knows.
Sticker, or even on the dash, where instead of having to try to read the code, pull the numbers. But
I'm a character reader. I'm reading your characters on a daily basis.
We've had some awesome results. A couple of them, they decided to do spell check on VIN numbers. So you get some interesting results when spell check kicks in. You think it's bad for texting. Wait till you see it decode a VIN. So, lots of good stuff.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, we'll move on to our guests here. Our first guest is going to be Adam Williams, and we're going to introduce him right now.
So we got Adam Williams in here with the PDR World Cup. We're going to ask a few questions. Want to get a lot more knowledge out there about this PDR World Cup. Now, this is the PDR World Cup that's going to be in Branson, Missouri, correct?
That's correct.
Well, tell us about it. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on, what the show is going to be about.
Well, the show is primarily focused around PDR in general. It's a little bit different than what and I'll just refer to them as the other guys. But I mean that across the globe. I mean, so this is going to be different than what anybody's ever seen before. We are trying to really concentrate and make a show only about PDR. We don't want to bring people in that really don't really know what's going on. We want there to be a family atmosphere. We want everybody that comes to really embrace all the way from a 5-year-old that his dad has just taught him how to push a dent out of his little toy car to the guy that's going to do one last hoorah or a expo before he retires. I want everybody in between. No. But I want it concentrated on PDR only.
Now, what are the dates that the show is going to be happening in Branson?
It's December the 6th through the 8th.
Through the 8th. So that's Thursday, Friday, correct?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Saturday, sorry. Yep. No.
Yeah. Thursday will be Education Day. There'll be a seminar for most of that day, and it'll be the second day for setup for vendors and people that want to just come in and check out the layout and stuff like that. You're welcome to do so.
Yep. Now, I know some people were wondering about the areas for the RVs, and that kind of clarifies it, that it is an all PDR event. So, the RVs are basically there for not demonstration, but go ahead and elaborate on the room for the RVs.
Yeah, the RVs are just going to be for things that I and a few other dent guys have said, hey, this really works well for us on the road. Whether you're a traveling hail guy or whether you're not, at some points in time, you probably need to, you might need an RV to go work that job for a couple weeks to help a buddy out here and there, or you may need an RV for your whole entourage for your hail chasing.
Well, that brings in John. John, he's actually recording this from his RV.
In my RV. So I chase hail in an RV, and my wife and I live in that for 9 to 10 months out of the year, every year.
Right.
So, and I'm sitting in rural Wyoming, licking the rooftop to keep the internet signal up in here.
Yeah. So that's what it's for. It's for guys just like you.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I was curious about. I saw you had the RV stuff, so I wasn't sure. But I think there is a lot of questions about that. And I tell you, moving out of a motel and into an RV changed my life. And my wife and I, we went from just uncomfortable and crappy conditions to everything's consistent. And been a great thing. Love.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You don't have any room keepers that are going to come pilfer through your things. You don't have. Basically, it's as secure as you want to keep it, and on the road, that's just one less thing to worry about. Well,
when it makes, I mean, what's the math on what you would pay in a hotel? Wouldn't that pay for an RV?
I'm money ahead at the end of the year, and I've kind of bought a very expensive high-end RV,
and it's a tax write-off.
And you're still,
right now, piss out of this thing.
Yeah,
and we also and. I don't know about everybody else, but I use a toy hauler, which is way easier for me to roll my tools and my everything I've got up in the back of this thing, and it's just like it's literally a 20-minute process to load everything and I'm gone, versus trying to figure out if you pull a fifth wheel that's just a camper setup. A lot of them have that underbelly storage in one area or something, but a lot of times it's not big enough.
For me. I just put it all in the back of my Grand Cherokee and connect the Grand Cherokee on the back of my motorhome and gone. And then if I want to, my basement's large enough in my RV. If there's no hailstorms or anything, then I pull everything out of the back of the Grand Cherokee, stuff it in the bottom of my motorhome, and then we just tool around.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well,
go ahead.
Next year, and I'm already thinking ahead, but next year, what an idea that somebody brought up was, why don't you have a few dent guys bring in their RVs and showcase kind of how their setup works for them, and let everybody just kind of see the different ways that hail chasers and people that use RVs to utilize in the PDR industry kind of have their setup, so that people can learn from that. Even it's not just tips from the new RV manufacturers, but at best it might be better for the dent guys themselves to show off what they got going on.
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to see some tricked out ones. I love to see how people organize their tools. I think a lot of guys are always interested in that. I think it's one of our biggest challenges in our industry is trying to figure out how to organize our weird stuff that we have.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. What about, you're doing the RVs and we're talking about living, and I know we got a little sidetracked as to that, but what about like some of the trailers and the guys that travel, even though they're doing the motel, but setting up a cargo trailer to load those tools quick and secure? Are you going to guys have some spots set up maybe for that, or include that in the RV section?
Actually, that's a good question. I actually do have a different outfit that's going to bring some little V-nose trailers, different sizes, shapes, and configurations to the show as well, to show those off as to the guy that doesn't really have a use for an RV in his setup. There's usually always outside of that, there's always a setup for just a regular dent trailer, and so I think that's going to be a good fit for our show as well.
Cool. See, I didn't set my RV up for nothing involving dents. My RV is set up as a house. It's set up exactly like I have 2 bathrooms. I have a dishwasher. I have a stacked washer dryer. This thing is a mini copy of my regular stick and brick house because I want that comfort after hours. Yeah. So, but now I know we've gotten a really, really sidetracked here, but let's talk a little bit more about the PDR World Cup.
Yeah, so you have all the spaces for the vendors that are coming. Are there any confirmed vendors so far that you could let our listening audience know?
Yes, we have several that are basically already committed, but I do have A1 is going to have a pretty cool setup there. I think it's going to be a little bit maybe more elaborate than what they've had in the past at other shows, but I think they're going to have a really, really nice big scene for everybody to take a peek at, and it's going to be in a high traffic area. So so they're really excited. I think A1, and thanks to them, because they've really kind of just been a driving force as far as motivationally behind this, as you know, like a cheerleader, like you can do it. You know, I think this will be a good thing. And then
it's in their back door. It's in their backyard.
Right. PDR Finesse is ultimately definitely committed. Blim Tools.
Yes,
I've gotten to speak with those guys, and man, they're really, really.
So it's a lot of companies we don't get to see in Orlando.
Right.
Okay.
Anson has made it public that they're going to be there as well. So that's I mean, I know there were some people saying, "Hey, is Anson going to be there?" I think they're going to have a really neat. The ideas that we've talked about, I think, are really going to set them up good. And you know, Drew's Tools has talked about being there. Let's see if I'm leaving anybody out. PDR for Dent Craft and Ultra, I think, are going to have a presence there. I'm not sure that they're going to have a full on. I think their scheduling conflicted a little bit too much, but I think they're going to have. I think they're going to have a presence.
Anson normally puts on at least a really good show for Ultra as well, and has a good representation of Ultra's tools.
Well, what I can't say about Anson is they're going to have their 2 vans there, and I am actually going to be there with them, helping them out. So
awesome!
Nice.
I'm going.
Yeah, we're from Mobile Tech RX's standpoint. Yeah, by the time this come about, we're in some scheduling conflicts, so nobody's sure if we can clear a schedule yet.
Right.
With
well,
all
hopefully
that shows.
I'd like to meet you all there. I think it'll be a great time.
Yeah. So tell us why Branson, Missouri? I know we talked about it. Let's let everyone know, the story behind that.
You guys are going to think this is kind of corny, but it does mean something to me. Back whenever Jerry Powell was just getting really going and marketing this industry, from his standpoint, my father was actually trying to get into PDR, and just couldn't. At that time, it was $60,000 to train, so that was a lot of money to come up with back in the 80s. But somehow my path led to the same dream that he had, and it's worked out really well for my family. Having said that, I kind of, Dad got to know Jerry Powell a little bit, and they had extensive conversations, and still, Dad kind of has regret that he didn't get that figured out, but I got it figured out, thankfully, and with the help of my father, and now I'm doing something for my family.
So what, you didn't train your own dad? What the hell?
Well, believe it or not, whenever I offered, it was to the point where he said, "I'm just too damn old for that." So
I get that.
But no, it's going to pay a little bit of tribute back to Jerry Powell, for what he has done for our industry, and it's kind of for him the way he kind of marketed and started it off. This is kind of a bringing it home thing for him.
I'd like to say something about that, because if it wasn't for Jerry, that was my first set of tools, and I was fortunate to get great training, and my trainer got me a full set of his tools at the beginning, and I remember seeing other guys get training soon after mine, and the tools that they got, and it was pathetic. And he really did put out a really comprehensive full set of tools really early on, before anybody else. And I'd like to hear more of his story about that, and where he got all the designs from,
Right. Well, we haven't gotten to probe that deep into the history of actually Jerry Powell. Now I'm sure that most of us here that are talking probably know quite a bit of that story. But it's just to start with, and I've been trying to contact his family so that we could possibly get one or some of them there. Now I think that I don't know if they will if they'll want to do something like that, but I think that overall, I think we can pay a pretty good tribute to Jerry Powell, and I think we should as an industry. I mean, there's guys from the West Coast, there's guys East Coast, The ones in Canada, I mean, there's guys in Australia that should pay tribute to this guy, because if not for the guy that trained them or the guy that trained him, they may be flipping burgers at a Five Guys Burgers. You know what I'm saying? So
tell us a little bit about the contest, because I've heard a little bit about it's going to be different than the Olympics. What are you going to do differently?
Well, we're going to have a multitude of dents. So we'll have 3 dents to start off with, and then they'll be different shapes and sizes. The depth is not going to be as deep, quite as deep. They're still going to be pretty difficult, but I want it to be to where these guys, a good dent guy, should be able to finish these dents in the time slot allotted, which is 30 minutes. And I know that that's cutting the time frame down from usual competition, but it's also going to bring the best guy to the surface. And what I want is the top 5 will move on, kind of a NASCAR chase style reset, and then they will glue pull a dent on a rail for the championship itself. So this is going to be something that 30 minutes you should be able to complete these 3 dents, and then you'll move on to a championship round.
John, it's kind of similar to what was going on in Japan, right?
Yeah, it sounds very similar to the ICERE shows and how they set up their dent competition. You have to do multiple dents on the first round, and then a lot more complicated dent to finish out in the finals.
Yeah, it's more competitive. It's more.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, one guy might practice really good. I'm a hail guy, so I was at a disadvantage for doing the door stuff. But man, when it comes to the rail, and I'm also a knucklehead, so I not only finished my rail dent, I cleaned up the 2 on each opposite side of mine and finished them out. So,
did you get disqualified for that?
No, because they judge after every single one. So I did get laughed at heavily by at least 300 people.
Yeah, because the funny thing back in the day, when Mike Toledo and we were in Tampa for MTE, he got distracted and started fixing the dent next to him, and he was into it like 15, 20 minutes, and they're like, "What are you doing, dude? You're fixing the wrong damn dent." And he was so embarrassed. Needless to say, neither dent qualified for placement.
I'm doing it again. I'm taking tape and I'm taping off all sides on opposite sides of my dent.
You know what I always wanted to see? I want to see a race, a sprint. A small dent, but how fast can you fix it? That kind of a contest. That would be fun.
Well, that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish here is putting all 3 dents into a 30-minute time slot. See it at MTE, which hey, don't get me wrong, all the respect in the world of them, but at MTE they have 1 dent for 45 minutes. Trust me, that's in my opinion, and I've been there and I've competed and done well, but the 45-minute time slot is way too long to give somebody just to fix that 1 dent. In my opinion,
it does draw it out.
Yeah, and it almost makes them second guess themselves sometimes, and maybe make them mess the dent up to the point where they might even finish better if they just threw their hands in the air and said, "I'm done," in half the time.
Yeah.
So, and we're also going to have a kids competition for anybody that's 15 or under.
Now, is that physical age or mental?
Because Daniel qualifies for that. Daniel qualifies for the physical or mental.
Mental,
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, as long as your parents. So if you bring your parents along and they can vouch for you that you're only 15, I'm sure we'll let you in there. But no, I think you got 15 or under, and hopefully there's some guys out there that's got some kids that they really want to show off. So.
Now, the physical location that you're having it at, it's a hotel, and it's all going to be at the same location, correct? You're not going to have to go off course or off whatever.
Off campus.
Off campus. That's the word I'm looking for. Traveling wise, how are we getting to Branson?
Guys, and I talked to Mr. Carl Stuckey the other day about this, and he said, "Man, I can't figure out a quick way to get to Branson." And I said, and he showed me a picture of there are no flights that lead into Branson itself. And I said, well, that's easy. Go to the Springfield Branson Airport. It's a national airport, which you can pretty much get there from any airport in the United States. And it's not really any more expensive than it is to go to Orlando or Vegas or anything. I mean, it's pretty easy.
If you were to fly into St. Louis, for the people that aren't from the Midwest, how far is like St. Louis to Branson? If you were to drive it,
St. Louis is about 3.5 hours. Yeah.
So it's not the closest airport. There's probably something closer.
Springfield would be much closer.
Springfield, got it.
Yes, Springfield is 25 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah. You pick up your rental car and just shoot right on over to Branson.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a hard thing. Or a lot of the guys from the Midwest will probably just drive, but the guys that are coming from out of town, just remember to fly into Springfield, Missouri. It's just so simple to do it that way.
For those that don't know anything about Branson has got a ton of stuff to do, and it is very family friendly. So there is a million things to do around Branson, Missouri.
Cool.
Right, and all the go-kart tracks and all that stuff are still open on the weekends, as long as there's not a foot of snow on the ground. Which, believe it or not, that time of year, Branson, Missouri's average high is somewhere, I think, in the low to mid 50s. So it's relatively mild as to what a lot of people's train of thought for Branson, Missouri is in the wintertime.
Yeah, and at least it's not during hail season. You know, by that point, a lot of the hail technicians, they've gone home. It's Thanksgiving is when they're home with their families and stuff like that. So it seems like a very reasonable time. Not to knock anyone else's conventions that are out there that have been moved up to September, but. It seems like a reasonable time. Actually, airfare is fairly cheap right after Thanksgiving too. I got to.
Yeah, you got that low between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, I'll be in Chicago the week before, and then I'll be flying out to Branson the week after, and man, it was dirt cheap from the West Coast.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're coming to Branson during that time of year, that actually, if you're into a Christmas theme at all. Man, they have got this is like the Christmas themed capital of the world that time of year. And if you really want to bring your family and do a lot of things, it's time to do it, because they've got like the Polar Express train that's like right outside the convention hall. And then Silver Dollar City has their Christmas fest, Christmas light shows and stuff like that. And then the Branson Landing has a light show, much like the Bellagio in Vegas. And it happens right there. It's 150 yards from the convention center.
Nice. So send all the family with that stuff, and while they're mingling and purchasing tools and making connections for the next hail season.
Right. So, hey, one more important thing I want to tell everybody.
Please.
Is I don't know if I've got the word out there enough, but just so everybody knows, I want people to buy tools. I want people to bring their families, and I want people to enjoy this expo. And so, having said that, everybody that wants to come and enjoy this expo, it's completely free to walk in the door. It's absolutely free. It don't cost you a dime. The only people it costs is a exhibitor or somebody going to the seminar or somebody that's competing in the actual PDR World Cup.
That's important. That's important.
How much is that, by the way?
The World Cup?
Yeah.
It's $150 to enter, but it pays out. I think how we're going to break it down is we're going to put like a $1,500 tool package on top, and then there'll be like a $3,500 stack of cash that somebody will just walk away with, and it's cash. So
$3,500 to fix 4 dents. Now that's Paul Corden money.
Yeah, it is, huh?
yeah. Sal Contreras. Yeah. But Sal's going to be competing in it. He's going to be there. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, Sal's going to
really
compete. Sal's going to compete. I might have to compete against him.
Well, give it a shot, man.
Yeah, I've never competed in those contests. I'm usually a little bit tipsy or hungover during a convention.
Busy,
but we'll see. Yeah.
Well,
Adam,
it'll be a good time.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be representing Anson and their crew and helping them out. So awesome. We hope that
and PDR Tool Time.
And yes, I'll be sporting my
You'll be the
PDR.
man on the street, man.
I'll be
Reporting live
Yeah, from
from location.
All right.
on location. So yes, so come out and visit, the PDR World Cup. This is an industry event. This is strictly PDR event. So, let's get this going and let's get a good crew coming and have some
Now
fun.
you got a website, right? PDRWorldCup.com.
Yep, PDRWorldCup.com. And if you don't see what you're looking for on there, my number's at the bottom. So just give me a call and I'll explain any questions that you might have.
Fantastic.
All right.
Well, Adam, we want to thank you for coming on and spending a little bit of time with us and explaining and going into depth with what to expect with the PDR World Cup. And once again, we want to thank you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, and I hope you guys have a great day.
All right, brother.
All right.
You too.
Thank
Take
you.
care, Adam.
Okay.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye now.
All right, guys. One of the things I'm really proud of this show is bringing on new talent, new dent guys, new tool guys. And I came across this next gentleman, David Schlemmer, and he has a company called dentstuff.com. And he caught my eye because he's got a couple interesting hail rods that are worth mentioning. And I'd like to welcome you, David.
Thank you.
Hey, David. How you doing?
Yeah,
Good,
thanks
how
for
are you?
coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been pushing dents?
I started in 2000, and I was a full-time route guy, hail guy up until 2008, and then went full-time hail chaser.
And where are you located, David?
Originally, I'm from Minneapolis. Now I live in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma. That's like the land of hail right there, isn't it?
It used to be when I moved there.
Yeah.
Now,
It's been quiet for a couple of years in Oklahoma City.
well, I'm up in Colorado right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And how long ago or when did you start your tool company?
So it's been, I've been prototyping stuff probably for about 3 years.
Okay.
Launched a website probably 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And then just started to get more inventory manufactured.
So,
Working on
all
more
right.
prototypes, more attachments.
And
Now,
what
I'm looking at.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking on your website right now. I'm on dentstuff.com.
Uh-huh.
And you have quite a few different things, and I'm seeing your hail rods. Now, are the hail rods the only thing that you're making exclusively that you're selling on the website?
I make all of it.
Okay, you make all of it. You got the baller blending hammers, and then you've got some telescoping arms for the hood stands.
Yep. Yeah, I make all
Okay.
of that too. I have a set of those right here. I'll show you. If you want to see how they work.
Yeah.
Yeah, describe them out to us.
yeah, describe, because our listening audience is just listening. They're not actually
Yeah.
able to see what's
Remember,
going on.
I have a face for radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. These are the strong arms. They're basically this part.
So you got one, the tall shaft replaces the arm, your standard
Yeah, so you
arm
can either.
on your hood rod.
Yep, it'll come with
Arm.
this. You can either use this, or this will actually go on your existing hood stand arms.
Okay. Now, how long is that? The part that he's describing is a part that would make the L coming up out of your hood stand, and it's adjustable. Now, that looks like it must be about a 2 foot long arm.
This arm, yeah, it's
Expandable arm. Yeah,
about 22 inches.
22 inches. So that's going to, for those of us that do a lot of hoods on the stands, and you start doing Super Duty hoods, that's where you really feel the weakness on your standard L arms on your hood stands, because you can't get out to the hinge brace area. All the other stands, even I have a Carbon Tech stand and I have an Ultra tabletop stand, and both of those, you're in the center of the hood with all of your arms. Now these are going to reach.
I use this pretty much exclusively on my Carbon Tech stand, so it's the same size.
Same diameter shaft.
It's pretty much universal.
Yeah.
3/4 inch arm is pretty universal.
So you can put it on pretty much any hood stand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't like the straight up and down one, you can actually put your L-shaped arm in there normally. And then I use this sometimes on a real flimsy aluminum hood. You'll have this This in the
both of them?
corner.
Double brace it.
Yeah.
Yep, and then you'll put this up in
Yeah.
the middle of it. somewhere.
I like that. So what he's talking about, folks, is because you can actually have two upright padded ends holding that. And we've all had this on the aluminum hoods. When you get in there with your whale tail and you're doing gnarly, sharp dents on those aluminum hoods, it has a tendency to rip that bracing completely out of that hood. Now, I always prop mine with a hood prop, everything underneath. Well, here you can just spin his other arm around and lock that brace onto that hood.
That's a great idea.
And then when you're shoving your whale tail in there, you're not going to be ripping that bracing completely free from that hood.
That's exactly what I was thinking when he was describing it, is using it as a brace, to
I've done
support.
like Priuses, where the Prius, the hood is about that big.
Sure.
Yeah.
You bring that all the way out back to the back of your hood stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
cool.
brilliant. That's awesome, man.
And you can actually pull that off. This is how I use them.
Okay. And then he's got the adapter to be able to bolt onto your hinge plate as
I'll
well.
bolt my hood on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't even have to use straps.
Yeah.
Now,
Very nice.
David, are you the one that sent me the dent box?
I was. Yeah.
I got to thank you. I was not sure where that came from
Yeah. So we,
because I got it through Mike. I think you sent Mike a couple
I
of
sent
them.
Mike a couple of them.
Yeah.
I want to say that was probably a year ago.
Yeah, well, I got to thank you because it just literally dawned on me while I'm on your website. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the guy who sent me the dent box that I
And we
finally
don't
get to
We
thank.
brought in a few of those and don't carry them anymore.
You know, okay, well, I do have to thank you because I actually do use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah, so and it's a good price compared to everyone else, but you're not selling them anymore, so we won't talk
I'm
about
not. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about your telescoping hail rod. Tell us about
Yeah.
those.
So 2010, I believe. I got the hot rod, that telescoping carbon fiber rod. I think it's from Australia. It was my favorite rod, but when you go to push something, let me put these tips in here. When you go to push something, when you have an extension on it or a longer tip on it, at any sort of angle, you would twist it and it would loosen up. So pretty much any telescoping rod.
That's always been my number one problem with telescoping rod. Daniel and I was discussing this. Every time I've used one,
Spun.
I run my rods off center all the time. And man, I would just twist that thing. And that's my problem with most screw together rods. I just turn them all the time.
And the way I push a little bit angled and then twist my wrist a little bit.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing. Now, tell us how you solved that issue. How did you solve? You got a telescoping rod and you stopped the twisting.
Yeah. So basically it goes from a little over 3 feet up to 6 feet.
Now, this is your smaller rod. You make
This is
two
a
rod
small
sizes.
one. So there's two sizes. One goes to 6 feet and one goes to about 8.5 feet. I don't know if you can see it. There's a channel.
So there's a
What he's
channel. The channel is in the extension part, and that keeps it from twisting. And you've got a patent pending on this design, correct?
Yep, there's 3 patents pending on the 2 rods.
Cool.
And basically, there's a ball bearing that rides in that channel.
Yep.
When you
And then
loosen
you
that,
got your own locking collar.
Yep. And then when you tighten it down, it's tapered threads. So when you tighten it down, it locks
Locks
that
in,
ball
no
bearing.
flex, no twist, and no rotation.
There's no wiggle. There's no-
David sent me one of these, and I literally got it on Friday, I think, or Thursday, and I got to play with it a little tiny bit, not much, but this thing is rock solid. It is not moving, and I don't know what thickness you're running in these. These things feel like they're almost solid, dude. They're thick carbon fiber, right?
Yeah, they're custom. I have them custom built from a carbon fiber company.
Gotcha.
Custom size them, custom sand them, custom machine them with the race in it, and then all the aluminum parts are machined in Oklahoma and assembled in Oklahoma. So everything's
Okay.
U.S. carbon fiber, U.S. machining.
Awesome.
Now the head that you have on there is a square head, so it looks like you got 4. You can put 4 tips on it.
Yep. So it's round and then it's machined on.
Okay, so you're flattened out the round and then machined it, added the. So you can have 4 different tips on there if you choose.
You can have 4 different tips. So I was doing a car yesterday where I had the Dentcraft Power 4, the red one, a sharp tip, and I actually had the. I can't remember what other tip I had, but I had 3 of them on there.
Yeah.
Things just rotated real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I always run a T-head on all of my hail rods.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, this thing, I can't wait to, I've got a hail car coming in on Monday. So I'm really excited.
Yesterday.
No, it got rescheduled till Monday.
Now, Daniel, you said that one. Now, you got the smaller one, right, Daniel?
I got both of them. He actually sent me his own personal one because he didn't have one. So he sent.
But
that's one of the original prototype ones you have.
Mm-hmm.
So
you were telling me that smaller one's going to fit in the Dodge bed sides because that's where one of the places you were having problems with the larger carbon fiber rods.
Exactly. That's one thing. You know, what's the outside diameter of the smaller extension?
The smaller one?
I want to say it's 1 1/8 inch.
Yeah. So that's going to fit just fine in there.
That should also maybe squeak in on some of these F-150s in the taillight open.
Possibly.
I haven't found. I've actually the big one will actually fit. I think in the Dodge taillights. You pull it out just a little bit to get that collar through there.
Yeah, and it definitely would because I can kind of stuff the Carbon Tech one in there, but you're kind of pushing out on that taillight opening.
So I like my rods with the tips real close to the shaft.
Yeah.
So some people you can
put your extensions on
however long you want them.
Yeah, I run extensions for most of my hail rods, but that I'm up here in Wyoming. I'm doing nothing but trucks and SUVs, so I'll do 15 trucks to every car. So if I'm running a dent rod shorter than 6 feet, it's a pretty rare occasion when I'm working on a roof.
But that's just you, John. You know, we do have other people listening besides you that do hail damage. That work on.
Well, that's why I was saying I always
cars.
run the extension because I'm so far out there. You need that extra leverage. But when I'm doing cars, you snub them up a lot.
I'm just thinking of our English listening audience, which we have quite a few. You know, they're just working on minis and stuff over there, right? So they just need a small little rod.
Well, this one that goes 6 feet. Now you said it's 3 foot when collapsed.
Yeah, so it goes from just a little bit over 3 feet to just a little bit over 6 feet.
Well, if we're going England, then we're looking at about a meter.
A meter, yes.
To a meter and a half.
Right.
Thank you for the conversion.
That was quick math. Good job,
2 meters,
John.
wouldn't it?
2 meters, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you're going to
3
be a
feet
little
to a
bit
meter.
short of 2 meters.
A little
2
bit more than
meters.
6 feet.
Yeah. A little bit over.
Oh,
2
it's a little
meters.
over 6 feet.
Yeah.
Because a meter is about 39 inches, just for everybody's quick.
Really? I thought it was 12. All right, we're all screwed up.
No, a meter is about 39 inches.
So when I'm fixing a car, most of the time, this is where I'll have it.
5 footer.
I have the inner part, I don't know, about a third of the way out.
Yeah.
And I just,
So you're running right around 5 feet, which is comfortable for most cars. I mean, do over half the roof from one side.
Get a truck or an SUV, you'll switch over. You can actually use this one. The only time I switch to the big one really is like a Suburban.
Yeah.
Now your larger one, now its diameter is right there with Carbon Tech and most of the other large diameter carbon fiber rods.
Yeah, so the outer tube will be, I believe it's the same diameter as the Carbon Tech. Ours is just sanded.
Yeah.
Then the inner one is sanded also. But we are in the works to get attachments to where you'll be able to use attachments from the other carbon fiber rod manufacturers to attach their ends that you already have to this rod.
Now, and you also have the same, basically for your blending hammers, it's the same material, I'm guessing, right? You do have the same ends, but they're carbon fiber?
Yeah, they'll just be a real they're a smaller diameter.
Gotcha.
Carbon fiber, but they all come from that same carbon fiber manufacturer.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's great.
And you do have, looking across your website, it does look like you have quite a variety of blending hammers in different lengths, and you have an extendable blending hammer.
I do, and I don't have one with me. It's that one's aluminum. I didn't bring one with me, but it goes from about a foot to about 2 feet. I think it says on there.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, are you going to be represented at Mobile Tech Expo this year?
I think I might try to be. We're getting some manufacturing stuff figured out to get more. Like the ones I have right now are all hand built, prototyped, small batches.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
this is going to be the first launch of it.
That's
So,
All
awesome.
right. All right.
Yeah, we appreciate getting the exclusive on bringing it on here and kind of showing you off. you
Yeah.
know,
So tell us where to find your tools again.
At dentstuff.com.
Okay. And that's it. That's exclusively just.
Right now, that's your exclusive.
That's it right now. I think we're in the, like, once I get manufacturing where I can get bigger orders built quicker, we're going to have them with Dent Tools USA and Anson. The strong arms are available at Dentcraft right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then hopefully this fall we'll get production ramped up to where we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think we're going to see some great stuff from you in the future.
Great
I'm
stuff from
excited
Dent
for you.
Stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you go on, I have some of the smaller rods with me in Colorado. If you go on there and order them, otherwise I'll have another batch in about 2 weeks. So if you
Well,
want
the guy.
pre-order or back order, you can back order them on the website too.
All right. The guys in Colorado, which town are you in? I mean, Denver, Colorado Springs. I mean, that whole area.
Really.
All right. So you're up north in the Greeley area. So if any of you guys are in Greeley and want to see them in person, they can look you up, maybe send you an email and see about checking it out maybe on the weekends.
Yeah. You can come try
Yeah,
one.
you guys got some cash in your pocket and need to burn it? There you go.
There's plenty of Dent guys around Greeley, Greeley, Cheyenne, Denver. They're all, I mean, you're all talking a 30-minute drive to go check out a rod that can make a huge difference in your wallet.
Yeah. And
Put
it's
more
the
money
end of the year
in your pocket.
coming up here, and we need some more write-offs. So,
They saved my shoulder really.
yeah.
So I built them for myself originally.
Yeah.
The thing that really sets it apart, I think, from other rods is there's zero play in it. There's nothing loose. There's nothing. It feels like a one-piece rod when it's all
Yeah,
extended
there's no
out.
wiggle through it at all.
Nice.
So that's cool. Well, we appreciate you coming on today and letting us chat with you and getting to kind of know you. And we look forward to seeing more of you and what you got coming out.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks,
Thank
David.
you.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, David. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of another show of PDR Tool Time. This is show 135, and I'd like to end it with something new.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not going to do that. Level up your tools.
Don't do stupid stuff.
And I still got to come up with something.
This has been another episode of PDR Tool Time.